What's going on, Flagrant family? Welcome back to the channel. I hope y'all are enjoying the playoffs as much as we are. It's May 27th right now. Boston's up 3-0. Dallas is up 3-0. It's looking like that's going to be the finals, so I'm kind of cool with, man. I don't think a lot of people expected that to be the finals, but it's going to be a super fun matchup. I think I'm going to rock with Dallas. Let me know what you guys think about all that, but I know what you guys are thinking. Where are the rest of the guys? I hate to break it to y'all, but we had a hooping session and a lot of them are in the hospital. Evan and Mohammed, their ankles, I took them from them, stolen, gone. Hanuk, Loki has a concussion because of how hard I dunked on him. And David, you don't even want to know what I did to that dude. But no, I'm just kidding. Anyways, jokes aside, guys, they are not here because of the content of this video, and the content is a mock draft. We're doing a lottery mock draft, and no fault to the other guys. I'm not hating on them, but they just don't know too much about college basketball prospects, foreign prospects, like how the lottery is going to shape out, which is cool. That's what I'm here for. I'm rocking solo dolo today. Let's get it. We're only going to do let's just do the lottery. We're only doing the lottery for this one. Maybe I'll do a full one in the future with trades, but this is 1.0. We're not doing any trades. We're just doing picks. Let's start off with Atlanta. The fact that they got this pick really makes me sick to my stomach. I don't even really want to talk about this, but us and the Hawks probably the two most mid teams in the league, and of course they get the first overall pick. I don't know. It is what it is. All right, though, let's talk about it. I don't think Trae Young or DeJounte Murray is getting dealt this season, especially not Trae Young. I think people are just tweaking. People are just Trae Young haters. Like, people forget how good he really is, and I think the Hawks really value him. DeJounte Murray really boosted his value after Trae Young got hurt last season, but I just think he's going to stay, man. I think they're going to give it one more try, especially with this number one overall pick. They have to deal Capella, though. They absolutely need to deal Capella. I don't want to see Sarr and Capella playing at the court at the same time when you have Onyeka Okongwu coming off the bench. But anyways, let's talk about Alexander Sarr. He's obviously the first overall pick here. This guy is a defensive menace, another prospect going first overall coming out of France. Times are changing, guys, but I would compare him to like a more athletic Triple J. This guy can space the floor really well for his size. Has a really nice looking 3-point jump shot. Can cut, catch the lobs really well, catch the ball off the pick and roll really well. And this guy's a menace on defense, just like Triple J. I think this is a perfect pick for Atlanta. A back court or a front court of him and Okongwu can do a lot of things defensively, especially for guys like Trae Young and DeJounte Murray, who in Atlanta just haven't been playing the best defense, especially Trae Young. So I think this is an easy first overall pick. And I think if I'm an Atlanta fan, I absolutely love this. You could trade the pick, but low key, just why not get a cornerstone big man for your team? Just why not? Like, what would you get for him? I don't see any players that would put the Hawks over the edge. They're drafting Sarr. Okay, that was a pretty easy one. This is where things get more tricky. We got the Washington Shitters, the Wizards. These guys are ass. Let's see. See, when the lottery first got announced, I thought for sure they were either going to draft a point guard or a big, and those two are on the board. I could see them getting their center of the future in Klingon, bring him some much needed defense, or I could see them taking Topage because they do need a point guard. I know they have Tyus Jones, but they don't really have a young point guard that they could build around. But recently, a lot of people have just been saying Zachary Richardson is a lock to go at number 2. I think, and I'm actually cool with that. He doesn't really fit the Wizards' needs, but I do think he's the best prospect available by a decent margin. This guy's a really tall, lanky defender. He can move pretty well with and without the ball. Really nice looking jump shot. Really elite 3-point shooter. And his draft stock has boosted a lot because it's the playoffs over there in the France or EuroLeague. Sorry, I don't know the exact league, but he's been playing really well over there. The Wizards already do have a bunch of wings. They have Kuzma, Kutabale, and Denny, but I mean, who cares? I don't think Kuzma's going to be on this team in a while. I could see Zachary playing the 3. I don't really like him at the 4. He's a little skinny, but I think he can put on a lot of muscle. The Wizards draft for talent here, which I think is the right move. They get Richardson. All right, this is an interesting one. Shout out the Brooklyn Nets, man, for giving the Rockets this pick. I can't believe they have this pick. The Rockets had a very impressive second half of the season last year, but let's see. I see a lot of people saying they take Donovan Clingan here. I don't know what are you thinking? Why would they take Clingan when they have Sengun? They just traded for what's his face, Steven Adams. I don't like Sengun and Klingon on the court together at the same time at all. They do not draft a big here. Let's see though. They draft Reed Shepard. I wouldn't have said this day one when the order got announced, but this guy's draft stock has went up crazy since the combine. He had the highest vertical recorded at the combine. This guy's him or Connect are the best shooters in the draft. This guy, his minuses, he's a little small. He's pretty small, thin, but he's a menace on defense, man. This guy, he's really, he's like a pest. He's like kind of like Patrick Beverly on defense. Not as good, obviously, but this guy can get some steals. This guy can play defense, but he is small, so he's going to get bullied a little. But I think its offensive ability is going to match really well with the Rockets. The Rockets are trying to win now. I could definitely see Reed coming off the bench for a season or two, learning under Fred VanVleet. And yeah, just another nice young piece to add to this Rockets young core. And I think they're ready to start getting some dubs. And they're done tanking. They didn't even really tank last season, but I like Reed Shepard. He can be their starting point guard or shooting guard if Jalen Green or Fred VanVleet ever leaves. Taking Reed Shepard. All right, San Antonio, first pick out of the two in the top 10, number 4. I have them taking Nikola Topic. Now, the reason I'm so hesitant on it is because he had a pretty nasty injury recently, apparently, and his draft stock has gone down a lot. But I'm going to be that guy, the European Spurs connection. It's just too perfect to pass up on. Topic, not the best shooter, which is what you want around Wemby, but he doesn't have a terrible looking jump shot. I think it will develop in the NBA. And yeah, his pros, he's really good at attacking the basket, really good cutter, slasher, pretty good playmaker. And I think it's just a really nice guy to put next to Wemby. Nice tall point guard that can get him the ball over defenders. His defense is all right, but I think his shooting and his defense is going to improve over time, especially in the Spurs system. The Spurs get their much needed point guard of the future. Hopefully he can stay healthy. Okay, this is where things get tricky. The Pistons. Now, apparently they want to draft, from what I've been hearing, a win now player. Hate to break it to you, Pistons fans, there are no win now players here for you. You just lost, I think it was 28 games in a row. There's no player here that is going to fix that. Not even Alexander Sarr could have fixed that. I do think they'll be better, actually much better next season, but they're not going to be a play-in team. They're not going to be a playoff team. So they should draft. I hear a lot of people saying they're going to take Dalton Connect, which is probably the best win now player in the draft, but he is also a senior. Like, he is a little older. And they already he can play the 3, but his defense is pretty poor, but the Pistons do need shooting. I have them taking Ron Holland, who I think is the best player out of the G League and the guy with the most potential. They need a forward. Issue is he doesn't have the best shooting, which is really what the Pistons need. But no. The Pistons, they're taking another best talent available / need. I don't think he's the best prospect here, but the Pistons don't need a center or point guard. So I'm going to have them taking the best forward here. I like Ron Holland. He's going to be able to impact the game defensively game 1. This guy's a menace on defense. Really athletic, high vertical, really quick, good at attacking the basket. Once again, it's just the jump shot. It looks okay. He's not hitting his 3-pointers very well, but once again, I don't really worry about that shit. Once they go to the NBA, they have NBA level coaches and all that. They're playing an NBA system. They're shooting. Their jumper is going to get better. I'm not worried about that. Pistons take Holland at 5. Another interesting one, the Hornets. Once again, I think this is a team that wants to start winning. They're kind of sick of being at the bottom of the barrel, the shitters, the laughing stock of the NBA. The Hornets are pathetic. I'm a Bulls fan, and so that's not good, me calling you pathetic, but LaMelo Ball's always injured. Hey, last year, shout out to them. They proved me wrong taking Miller over Scoot. I was team Scoot all the way, but they proved me wrong. Now, what does this team need? I've been teasing the idea of them getting Clinging, but I feel like Spurs fans and the Spurs organization are pretty happy with Mark Williams, especially if he can stay healthy. He's a pretty good prospect, and he's young still. But I think Stephon Castle is the perfect pick here. Now, I know what you're saying. Why would they draft another point guard? I look at Castle more as a combo guard, someone who could play off the ball with LaMelo. And whenever, LaMelo is going to get hurt next season, whenever LaMelo gets hurt, he could be the starting point guard. This guy is really good on defense. He's another big guard. He's 6'6". Playmaking, I think it'll improve over time. He's a decent rebounder, really good at cutting, attacking the basket, slashing, that type of player. And I think he's a perfect connecting piece between LaMelo and Brandon Miller. I think you could definitely start him at the two, like halfway through the season as he gets more used to the NBA. But this guy's a winner at straight out of UConn, coming from a championship. He knows what it takes to win, and I love this pick, pairing him next to LaMelo in the backcourt. All right, Portland. Kind of tough they fell all the way to 7, but that is totally okay. They are taking Donovan Clingan. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. Oh, they have DeAndre Ayton. He's their starting center of the future. No, I am not a fan of Ayton. He's a hooper. He can ball. I hate his attitude. Like, he's just such a clown. The whole thing with Phoenix, how like he thought he deserved to get the ball more and all that. I don't know. He's just a clown in my opinion at times. Super talented. I can't take that away from him. His defense kind of pisses me off sometimes. Offensively, he's a really talented center, but I don't want him as my future of the center. He's going to demand a lot of money, and I think Donovan Clingan is what the Blazers need. They need more defense. Clingan is a defensive anchor. My comparison would be like Rudy Gobert, Walker Kessler, very limited offensively. Like he's good at catching lobs, dunking. You know, he's got some post moves, but his shooting is pretty terrible, even though he was knocking down threes at the combine, but that doesn't mean anything. We know that. So I think the Blazers get their center of the future here, and they're very happy with this. They have a really nice young core. I don't think they're very close to being able to compete or win, especially in the West. But hey, man, they get their center of the future. If I'm Portland, I'm ecstatic. Get Ayton out there. You can get some more assets. Clingan's a dog. This is a guy I would love to see the Bulls get, but unless we trade up, there's no way in hell he falls to 11. But Blazer fans are very happy. All right, the Spurs are second pick in the top 10. They got their guard of the future in Topage. They could double up on guards just in case, but I don't really like that idea of doubling up on the same position. And a lot of these guards, I don't really see them being a combo guard. Like Rob Dillingham, I don't want him as a combo guard. I want him as my lead guard. They could draft Dalton Connect the win now as a win now player. This is a tough one. I'm going to go with Montes Buzelis, though. Not going to lie, I do not know too much about him. He is the second best prospect, or arguably the first coming out of the G League. He's pretty tall for his size, but he's really skinny. But he's a knockdown shooter. Or he's not a knockdown shooter, but he definitely can spread the floor. He can hit the threes, a 3-level scorer. He's pretty good help side defense. Could get you a few blocks. Really good half-court player, but he is small. He is a bit streaky, but this is another guy that will thrive under the Spurs system, playing next to Wemby. He can afford to mess up on defense, mess up on offense. Wemby's going to be there to clean things up for them. The Spurs get their point guard of the future and a forward that they can pair next to Wemby for years to come. I'm not a huge Jeremy Sohan guy. Keldon Johnson's cool, but I think they might end up trading him. So Zealous is their forward of the future to pair with Wemby. Let's get it. All right, the Memphis Grizzlies. This is where Dalton Connect goes. This is a win now team. Detroit, Charlotte. I know you want to be win now teams to get some dubs, but like, no. The Grizzlies, they're very lucky to have this pick at all. This reminds me kind of when the Warriors had that pick for James Wiseman. Obviously, that was way higher up in the draft. That was pick 2, but they fumbled that. James Wiseman was a clown. But that's besides the point. This roster's nasty. Triple J, Bane, Ja. Hopefully his antics are done. Marcus Smart barely played last season. When this team's like full cylinders, ready to compete, he's gonna be an excellent piece. Marcus Smart. Yeah, you have a nice power forward like Brandon Clark. You have shooters, but I do think Connect is the guy to get here. He is the most NBA win now ready player. He's a senior coming out of Tennessee. This guy's an absolute bucket. I do think he's the best shooter in the draft. I did say Reed Shepard earlier, maybe, but I think Connect is better. Excuse me. But the Grizzlies get a win now player. They can low-key start him at small forward. They probably won't, but he could be their 6-man. This guy is a bucket getter. I can see him getting some big buckets in the playoffs for them. I predict he'll score around like 13, 15 points his opening year. A comparison's kind of tough. Maybe like Tyler Hero kind of, but I don't know. It's kind of tough. I'm taking the Grizzlies taking him though. That's a lovely pick. Okay, Utah. This one's kind of tricky. They're a weird team. Utah is just a weird team. First of all, they have the worst jerseys in the league by far. That shit is disgusting. That like highlighter yellow and black, Jesus Christ. But that's besides the point. They're gonna be shit next season. I'm so tired of this team like getting more wins than they should have. Like it's just kind of cringe at this point. Laurie Markkanen getting traded soon. Probably John Collins. Same with Sexton. This team doesn't have a lot of. They have plenty of assets, plenty of young assets draft picks, but they don't have that guy. The only guy is like I see them keeping for sure is like Taylor Hendricks, Keontae George. Kessler's nice. Kessler's their center of the future for sure. I'm just drafting best talent available here. Shout out Chris Dunn, former Bulls legend. Oh yeah, they got Kenneth Lofton Jr. now. That's a decent little pickup for them. I have them taking Rob Dillingham to be their point guard of the future. This guy is electric. This guy is super shifty, fast. Reminds me of like kind of like Ja Morant without the not as many hops. Obviously, this guy is a bucket getter. This guy's a flamethrower. Issues though. He is tiny, man. He's the third lightest player in the NBA, standing at 6'2", 160. He's very small, skinny. So he's going to get bullied pretty badly on defense, especially at the NBA level. Like switches are going to be a nightmare for this guy. But on offense, he is a bucket getter. This guy can get to the rim. He's a 3-level scorer. Really nice looking jump shot. Really good from 3-point range. Playmaking numbers, as you can see, they're not that great. But remember, at Kentucky, he was sharing the backcourt with Reed Sheppard. So I'm not worried about that at all. His playmaking numbers are going to go up in the future. And yeah, I think the Jazz, they just get their point guard of the future here. I'm happy with this. Dillingham falling all the way to 10. I love it if I'm the Jazz. Okay, guys. Most important pick of the draft, the Chicago Bulls. My Chicago Bulls. I live in Illinois. Been suffering ever since I started watching the Bulls. We know we had a couple decent fun years with Pau Gasol, D Rose, but for the most part, it's been pain, struggle, suffering, tears, blood, sweat, all of the above. I'm sad. But we get the 11th overall pick. I was expecting it. This is what we were mocked to get because we're not good enough to compete and not get a lottery pick, but we're also not shit enough to get a really good lottery pick. We're mid. We're the definition of mid. MID. We are mid. But there are still plenty of nice looking draft prospects that we could snag up with this 11th pick. Number 1 overall, obviously, is Cody Williams. If Cody Williams is still on the board and we don't draft him, we're going to have some issues. Let's just say that, Chicago Bulls office. We're going to have some issues. I think Cody Williams by far is my favorite prospect available at this point. Him or Salon out of France, but I just don't know too much about him. I'm just a sucker for those tall French dudes. I'm definitely hopping on the Wemby hype train, the Richard Shea hype train, but oh my God, it would be so like disgusting cringe if like the Bulls at 11 and pick someone else. And oh, the Thunder at 12, they get the younger brother of Jalen Williams. Oh my God, they're on the same team. How cute. They're going to grow together just like they did before the league. No. Screw that. No. The Chicago Bulls take Cody Williams with the 11th overall pick. Let's talk about him as a prospect. He's pretty raw. He's a very raw prospect, but there's a lot to like here. He has a pretty nice looking jump shot, super long and lanky. I think he could be a great defender. He's going to put on some weight on that frame. Pretty good 3-point shooter, but he didn't really shoot a lot. His numbers, yeah, do not look impressive on paper, but trust me, this guy's a development pick, just like Patrick Williams was. But I think Cody will be better than Patrick during his first couple of years. And think about it, with the Bulls, now we have our starting point guard of the future. We have Ayo. We have Kobe White as our shooting guard of the future. And then for our wings/forwards, we'll have Cody and Pat. I don't really like either of them playing the 4. So maybe in the future we can sign a 4 or draft a 4. And then at center, we need a nice young center. I'm sick of Vooch's antics. Like he's cool, but like, man, that man is a professional bricklayer, seller, con man, all the above, really. But I could see Cody Williams learning a lot behind DeMar DeRozan specifically. I could see him growing over time. Bulls take Cody Williams. There's a couple other draft picks I wouldn't be too angry with, but he is by far, at 11 at least, the guy I want to see the Bulls take the most. And if he falls to the Thunder, I will puke in my own mouth. Shout out to the Bulls, though. I have faith. They will make the right decision. They will. Cody Williams, welcome to the Chicago Bulls. I'm just calling it now. Okay, the Thunder, they're throwing a hissy fit. They're crying. Privileged fans. They have 700 draft picks, a bunch of really nice young talents. But oh my God, we didn't get Jalen's younger brother. The Bulls are assholes. We don't care. Screw you, Thunder. No, shout out to Thunder though. They're pretty much what I want the Bulls to be, but it'll never happen. Uh, what do the Thunder need? They obviously want players that can contribute now. They're contenders. They made it to the second round. Shout out to them. Couple guys here. I like the idea of either drafting a center or a point guard. The reason I say center is they don't have a lot of size on this team. Chet is a monster defensively, but he can't do it all by himself. And like he's clearly he's showing some growing pains, which is totally fine, man. He was a rookie, but so I could see them. I don't think they like Edey. He just doesn't seem like a guy that would fit in with the Thunder. Kyle Filipowski would be nice to pair next to Chet, but he has his own defensive issues. Devin Carter would be nice. Really good backup point guard. I'm a big fan of Yves Messi. And Kel'el Ware is actually probably the most slept on prospect, at least for me. This guy's kind of a beast. I really mess with him, actually. I wouldn't be too mad if the Bulls took him. Really quickly, let me just go back to the Bulls. I know I'm rambling about the Bulls too much, but Cody Williams at 11, these are the guys I would be cool with them taking at 11. Remember, all those guys 1 through 10, they're probably taken already. Cody Williams, Tajon Salon, I guess Isaiah Collier, because he definitely has the potential. He was the number 1 projected draft pick like about a year ago or before the season and all that starts. So like I guess Collier, maybe Messi, but I think the third one for sure would be this guy's a like a physical specimen. This guy's ginormous. Not gonna lie, I haven't watched any like full games of him. Not gonna lie, I'm not a fake fan. But yeah, this guy's really good at defense, catching lobs. His dunks are really filthy. Like he has really cool looking dunks. Obviously can rebound the ball really big. We desperately need a defensive center with Vooch and Drummond being our centers. But okay, enough with that. The Thunder take Isaiah Collier. I don't think Giddey's going to be on this team for much longer. And Collier's a guy who I do think can come in day one and do a lot for them. This guy's a bulldog. This guy's a tank, a mini tank. He can get to the basket really well. The jump shot is improving. It doesn't have the best splits from 3, but also not the best playmaker, but no, he's pretty good in the pick and roll, actually. No, I like Collier here. He can contribute day one to the Thunder. Over time, he could be your starting point guard over Giddey when he leaves. I like him next to Chet or Shea in the backcourt. The Thunder get a nice replacement point guard for Giddey and a nice young talent. Remember, this guy was projected to go number 1 overall about a year ago in mock. So Thunder are very happy taking him at 12. 13. Once again, another win now team. Oh, man. I love Fox and Sabonis. I love this Kings team, but they're kind of stuck in Midland also right now. I don't know how much better they can get off this one pick. For fit, I would pick Jacoby Walter, because I'm pretty sure Malik Monk is leaving this season because they can't afford to pay him over other teams. But I feel like they'll still have Kevon Huerter. They have there's plenty of guards on the market. I'm having them take the most talented player available, at least the guy projected the highest ceiling. We're going to take Tajon Shalon. Once again, not going to lie, I sound like a poser here, but I haven't watched any full games of this guy, just highlights. Really good shooter, tall, lanky, reminds me a lot of Zachary Richard. Tall, lanky shooter, can shoot from 3 mid-range in the post. He's a 3-level scorer. Really skinny. Once again, these like tall French dudes are always super skinny, but I like the Kings drafting for talent here, and I think he can contribute halfway through the season, get him used to the NBA runs. Jesus Christ, and yeah, I like him taking this guy. He's just too talented to pass up on. Even though guys like Jacoby Walter might fit better, we're taking most talented player. All right, last pick of the draft, guys. The Portland Trail Blazers. 14th overall pick, second pick in the mock. They have room to do a lot here. They want a point guard. They can get Devin Carter, but they did just draft Scoot. Excuse the stuttering. I'm losing my mind here. I don't see them taking another center. Jeremy Grant's going to be gone soon. I actually see them taking Kyle Filipowski. This guy can go anywhere from like I guess 11. I could see the Bulls taking him. This guy's like a discount Walmart, Dollar General, Dollar Tree, Five Below, Lauri Markkanen. No, I'm just kidding. That was disrespectful, but he is kind of like a dumbed down Lauri Markkanen, not nearly as athletic. He can spread the floor really well for his size. Really nice looking jump shot. Really good help defense. Doesn't have the best on ball defense against other bigger players, but I like pairing him next to Klingon because Klingon can clean up a lot of the messes or mistakes that he makes on defense. So I think this is a perfect fit for the Blazers. They don't have a lot of power forwards. They're pretty loaded on the guard position. So I like them taking a versatile 4 here who can add some offense to them. All right, guys. Like I said, I'll do a full mock draft first round in the future with trades and all that. But this is the lottery mock draft 1.0. Let me know what you guys think, what you disagree with and agree with. Let's recap it really quickly. These two are kind of locks, I feel like. Hawks get the best player available in the draft. They get their big power forward center of the future. Zachary Richard-Shea, starting small forward / power forward of the future for the Washington Wizards. They get the most talented guy available on the board. I love it. Reed Sheppard. Rockets get a nice little connecting point guard that can do it all for them. Spurs get their point guard of the future. Hopefully the injuries aren't a big issue. Excuse me. Ron Holland goes to the Pistons. They get I would say the forward with the most potential in the draft, low key. That's available. I think Richard-Shea has more potential, but other than him, I think Holland has more potential than Buzelis Connect. Castle going to Hornets. The Hornets get some point guard insurance. They get a nice combo guard to connect the dots over there. Blazers get their center of the future, a defensive anchor that will give them a lot of defensive help that the Blazers need. Get Ayton's ass out of there. Buzelis, the Spurs add a nice young forward, dynamic offensive forward that can help Wemby hopefully get some dubs. And he pairs well with Topic also, in my opinion, because he can catch and shoot the ball. Grizzlies at 9 get a win now, the most win now player in the draft. They get an absolute bucket that can come off the bench or start for them at the 3. I love this selection to the Memphis Grizzlies. At 10, Rob Dillingham to the Jazz. The Jazz get their point guard of the future. This guy's an explosive athlete. This guy's going to sell tickets. This guy is a bucket getter. Bulls get a nice, really young, raw prospect that we can build over time. Really high ceiling. I love the physical attributes of him. And he is in a family of hoopers. Jaden Williams' younger brother, of course. Cody's going to have that similar mindset. I love the Bulls picking Williams there. Collier to the Thunder. The Thunder get their point guard of the future. Nice insurance for Giddey. Gritty win now player with a lot of potential. The Kings get the best player available, the guy available at the highest ceiling. I think that's something that that roster's kind of lacking. And I don't think there's any win now players really that's going to help their cause to make the playoffs. And finally, Portland drafts for fit. They get their power forward of the future, Kyle Filipowski. Nice, versatile big, the pair next to Klingon and Scoot. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video. The boys will be back. Do not worry. You'll get to see their cute asses later. Please check out the TikTok and the shorts in our other videos. And enjoy the rest of the playoffs, guys.